All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakakwarash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone. Shalom to the Akim, and if you are who may be listening. This is your brother Batakala from the GMS camp here in Chicago. It's a lot coming back at you in another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai. Lord willing, it's an edifying lesson. We're going to get right into it. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. All right, so when we come to the Lord and come to serve the Lord, we're going to go through a lot of trials. We're going to go through a lot of troubles, a lot of tribulations. All right. But the Lord is letting us know that up front. All right. And the Lord is letting us know that we have to constantly have a spirit of endurance, constantly pray for endurance. All right. And don't be hasty when you're going through certain things, because the Lord puts us through things to teach us lessons and teach us things. All right. But if you want to be hasty, you'll look past the lesson and you won't learn, and you'll continue to make the same mistakes. All right. And this is something that I got to work on personally. All right. We all, have certain flaws, and, we got to, me personally, I tend to make certain mistakes, repeatedly, and Lord willing, the Lord will, help me with that, and, I'll be better. All right. Verse 3, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. All right. So when we're going through the troubles that we're going through, that's the time when we should be cleaving onto the Lord, and, casting our burdens onto the Lord, praying to the Lord, because the Lord is the one that's in control of all of those things that we're going through. The Lord is the one that's putting us through what we're going through, so that we can learn what we have to learn, and, get the understanding that we have to get from each situation that we deal with, So, that's the time for us to get closer to the Lord, so that we can, be in the right spirit, and the Lord can bless us with understanding on the situation. Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. All right. So, we got to praise the Lord, good in the bad and the ugly times. It doesn't matter how things are going. One constant should always be that you're praising the Lord and being thankful to the Lord for everything that he does for us, good and bad. All right. And, we just got to, we always have to do that. We got to make sure that we're patient, because at the end of the day, no matter how things look, in the beginning of a situation, or while you're going through a certain situation, the Lord can make everything right and then some at the end, of whatever it is that you're dealing with. All right. And we're going to back that up with the book of Job in a minute. All right. Lord willing. It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. All right. So, we all were born into this world for the most part, outside of the few individuals that might have been born to parents that was in this truth and taught them, and raised them up in 100% truth. But outside of that, a vast majority of us, were raised in the fashion of this world for many years prior to, the Lord waking us up and bringing us into this truth. All right. So we have a lot of old, habits, a lot of wicked ways about us that have to be purged out of us. And the purging process is not an easy process. It's not a comfortable process. All right. That's why it's likened unto a fire, the furnace of adversity. We go through these adverse situations to, remove the impurities from our spirit, so to say. And, that's not an easy process. It's not a comfortable process all the time. All right. But we have to make sure that we just stay in a good spirit, stay thankful to the Lord, and, just pray for endurance. All right. This is the book of Mark 13 and 13. All right. Because, like I mentioned, the Lord informs us what we're going to deal with. All right. These scriptures are given to us to inform us of the things that we're going to deal with, and also inform us of the things that, the men of the Lord of past dealt with, so that we can understand the same situations that will come upon us or may come upon us, all right? And, of course, everything else, because, the scriptures contains wisdom and the wisdom and knowledge of, how to live life the way that the Lord intended to live it, all right? But this is Mark 13:13. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right, so, when you're in this truth and you really are about Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, people of the world are going to, you're not going to find favor with many people in the world. Now, the Lord will still have people have favor on you, but for the most part, a vast majority of these people are saturated with demons, and, Satan is going to use them to attack you and to put you through certain situations. But, as the Sirach said, the furnace of adversity is for our betterment. When these people do these things to us and these demons jump on these people and we have to go through whatever we have to go through, it's all for our betterment at the end of the day if we be of the elect, Lord willing. So, we just have to have a positive mindset on the situations, continue to praise the Lord and, not get offended. All right. But we're going to get the book of Job now, Salakia. All right, this is the book of Job, chapter 1, and verse 6. It says, Now there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. All right, so, Satan is a left-hand angel of the Lord, one of the sons of the Lord. And Satan is not some individual that's an individual that's just some loose cannon and some independent entity. All right, everything that Satan does, the Lord instructs him to do, and it's going to go into that as we continue reading. All right, so these Christians, they talk about the devil being autonomous and having his own will and being a thorn in the Lord's side. That's not true. All right, everything that happens on this earth and everywhere else, the Lord is the one who ordains all of those things. Nothing happens without the Lord signing off on it, all right, including everything that Satan does in the world, all right? Satan works for the Lord. All right, this is verse 7. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered to Yahweh and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Ooh, Salakia. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth Yahweh and escheweth evil? All right, so the Lord then brings Satan's attention to Job, and the Lord, speaks on Job and, talks about, his character and the type of individual that he is. And he even raises him above, all the other men that are in the earth. It says that there are none like him in the earth. All right. So, Job is a good example of somebody who is, has fear of the Lord and is living a life, according to the way Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai wants us to live. All right. And Satan answered and said, Yahweh, Slaki, and Satan answered Yahweh and said, Doth Job fear Yahweh for naught? Hast thou not made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. All right, so Satan replies to the Lord when he, brings Job to his attention by saying, of course, Job fears the Lord. Things are always going good for him. You bless him. You got a hedge around him. He's protected. Everything that he puts his hands to do, it works out for him. He's got good substance. He's got wealth. Of course, he's going to praise the Lord. He's in a good case. All right. Verse 11, but put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. All right. So Satan says, but if you take that hedge up off Job and take away all of his things, he'll curse you to your face. Basically saying that Job's fear of the Lord is not real, and that the only reason that Job is the way he is because the Lord blesses him. he's in a good position in his life. All right. This is verse 12. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power, only upon himself not put forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of Yahweh. All right, so the Lord told Satan that if you believe that, you can take all of Job's stuff and, whether because his children end up getting killed, uh, his livestock ends up getting stolen. He just takes a lot of losses, and a lot of his material goods are taken. All right. At this point in the interaction, because Satan later goes and hits Job with bodily afflictions and various other things, to test him. All right. But one point I want to make is that the Lord allowed Satan to put his hands on Job, but he told him that well, at first he told him don't hurt him and don't harm his body, but later he allows Job to get smitten with boils and deal with that. But the Lord instructs Satan not to kill Job. All right. And although some of us are going to be martyrs in this thing, because some of us have got to lay our life down for Yahweh Shai, at the end of the day, those that do that and that pass away on this side prior to the chariots cracking the skies and the deliverance happening, those men will be good, man. They'll be good. The Lord will raise them up first, like the scriptures say. So that's that. Whatever our lot is, we it is what it is on that. But for the most part, the things that the Lord puts us through are not to kill us, man. Especially what we for the things that we go through, and the way times are right now. Things are getting worse, but we aren't at the point where Esau is putting people in concentration camps and things of that nature. All right, so a vast majority of the things that we're dealing with right now, are things that are not going to kill us, man. Lord willing, at least. So we just gotta endure and stay cheerful and make sure that we're learning. But I'm gonna just jump to the end of the book of Job, because the Lord will put us through all these things, and when we show ourselves worthy and prove our integrity, the Lord will give us more than we had lost going through whatever we had to go through. All right. This is Job 42:10. And Yahweh turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Also, Yahweh gave Job twice as much as he had before. All right. So Job lost everything, lost his kids, lost his substance. His wife turned into a demon, cursed him, and told him to curse the Lord. But in the end, after he endured all of those things and kept his integrity, the Lord blessed him with double what he had at first. And he was already doing great at the beginning of the story. All right. This is verse 11. Then came there unto him all his brethren and all his sisters and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house. And they bemoaned him and comforted him over all the evil that Yahweh had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and everyone an earring of gold. All right, so the Lord sent all the people that was in his life, his friends and people that's close to him and the people that he dealt with, and they all, came and, I'm sorry for what you had to go through, and, that type of situation. And, and they all end up, the Lord put it on their spirit to give Job substance, to give him money, to give him gold. All right. So Yahweh blessed the latter end of Job more than the beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep and 6,000 camels and 1,000 yoke of oxen and 1,000 she asses. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. All right. So, although Job had to go through everything he had to go through, there was a reward on the other side of that for him, man. And that's the same thing that we have to remember while we dealing with everything that we dealing with here, man. The Lord is the Lord has a reward waiting for us, man. All we have to do is endure to the end. And Lord willing, the Lord allows us to do that, man. From the apostles and the elders on down. Okay? Because what we don't want to do, and this is why we have to pray and stay prayed up, because we don't want the Lord to send a spirit on us that will, of being offended. And then you want to start, you want to turn your back on the plow, turn your back on the brothers, start slandering brothers in videos, making up fake doctrines and all this other stuff that, individuals do when they get offended. It's a heavy punishment for that. And we don't want to, we don't want to be that person, man. So we got to stay prayed up and pray that the Lord has mercy on us, man. This is Luke 9:62. And Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. All right. So a vast majority of the time, if not, always when people take their hand off the plow, it's because they get offended at one thing or another. All right. And that causes them to decide that they don't want to serve the Lord no more. And, it's a heavy punishment for that. All right. So we got to pray that the Lord doesn't take the spirit away from us and doesn't put a demon on us to make us go back into the world, because, it'll be bad news for anybody that happens to. All right. Lord willing, the Lord preserves, like I said, from the apostles and elders on down, all of us from that calamity. This is James chapter 4 in verse 13. Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow, we will go into such a city and continue there a year, and buy and sell and get gain, whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? Is it even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away? For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. All right. So, we got to make sure that we are casting our burdens on the Lord, that we're praying that the Lord has mercy on us, and that Lord willing will endure to the end, and that we can be delivered. All right. Because none of us are going to be able to make it on our own. Okay. And we have plenty of examples of that, throughout the history of this earth, of people, of Jakes in particular, trying to deliver themselves, especially in this American captivity, Jake trying to deliver themselves without Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. All this generational wealth and all these things that these Jakes are talking about is folly, and it's never going to work. The only thing that's going to work is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and he's only coming to save the elect, and the elect are going to be sighing and crying and praying for the Lord to deliver them, and are going to have a spirit of fear of not making it. All right. The apostles say it all the time, from the apostle Tahar on down, that they don't even know if they're going to make it. And that's why they are the way they are, and the way that and they do the things that they do, and take the Lord's work serious, man. And we all got to do that, and we all got to get better, man. Myself first and foremost. Okay. So Lord willing, the Lord will put the spirit on us to do the things we have to do to receive salvation, and will find us worthy, man. Lord willing. All right. But with that being said, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone. Shalom to the Akim and the few Akwat who may be listening. Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. Until next time, Kwam Yasharala and Abba Babal.